Hello friends, and welcome back to our homestead. Today I would like to share with you a recipe that I have recently found in this cool book. It's called Journey Back to Health, and I found this book when I was on vacation and I read it through cover to cover quickly. It's a beautiful book. It's a personal story of someone sharing how they went from failing health back to health, implementing natural God-given methods that we have at our fingertips. We just choose not to use them, and we often rely on highly processed foods. But this is going to talk to you about how to get back to the roots and eat wholesome foods, God-made foods. So I found this recipe that she shares. This book is by Kim Hoffman, I think it's pronounced Harfman. Yeah, I think. Not sure. It's a French name, so I'm probably mispronouncing it. So she shares on page 68 a salsa starter. And this is a starter for any salsa that you want to make in the future. Okay? Certain items have to be fermented ahead of time and sit in your fridge and be ready to be used. And then you just add some fresh ingredients and serve it as a beautiful lacto-fermented, wonderful immune supporting salsa. So the ingredients that she talks about is 10 cups of jalapeno chilies, which is about 10 large ones, seeded and finely chopped. And you know, that I know for my family will be too spicy, because I know that me personally, I don't like things very, very spicy. So I have looked at this recipe and I'm going to twist it just a little bit to accommodate my family needs. But everything else, almost everything else, is going to be the same. So again, look at this book. I encourage you guys to get this book. It's a really good read. It's refreshing to read something so Bible-based teachings about health. So I love it. So let's make this beautiful salsa starter, and I'm going to share with you how I'm going to make it. Okay, so let's start making it, and I'll show you all of the ingredients, and then I'm going to list also in the description box, and I'm going to list what I'm going to be using and the quantities I'm going to be using, simply because I am changing it up just a little bit from this book version. So here are my ingredients. I'm going to be using lots of beautiful homegrown bell peppers, lots of them. I'm going to be using some white onion, but we can use red onion as well if we want. I don't know if it's white or yellow, but anyway, any kind of onion. Then I'm going to be using some jalapeno peppers and some habanero peppers, just a few, just because I want this to be mild salsa. Okay, I'm going to be using some green scallions, and obviously I'm going to need salt, I'm going to need water, and for spices I'm going to be using ground coriander, I'm going to be using ground cumin, and some dried oregano. And that's what we're going to be going with. And this whole thing is quite fast to put together, especially if you use one of these cool choppers like this. Let me show you. And it's very quick, and I'm going to be using the fine, the small kind of chopping grid, so things will be quite small and it's going to go very, very fast. I'm going to measure everything so I'll know how much it fits, and then I'm going to be using a glass jar. This is 1.5 liters, 1.5 quarts, so this is about 8 or 10 cups fits in here, really. 10 cups fits in here, about that. So all the fermentation is going to take place in a glass jar. I do recommend either stone, ceramic, or glass, not plastic. And then we're going to need clean water, and I'm going to be using our clean water from our well, and salt. And I'm using coarse sea salt. This is Sicilian sea salt, but you guys can use any salt you like. All right, so let's start chopping everything up, mixing everything up. All right, so fermented salsa is a great way to introduce lacto-fermented foods to our bodies and to bring good nutrition, because think about it, all of this fiber that's in the onion and in the, oh, you know what I forgot garlic. Oh my goodness, let me go get garlic. I forgot garlic. I'm gonna eat a whole head of garlic. So I'm gonna start chopping my vegetables, and I'm just going to prep the onion by slicing them in thick slices and then putting them into my machine so I can, my chopper, so they come out nice and small, because we don't want big chunks of onion or peppers in the salsa. We want it to be somewhat uniform pieces, okay? So I'm just gonna chop them up. So what we're looking for is about 2 cups of onion. That's the goal, 2 cups of onion. All right, so for this recipe, I'm gonna need 2 cups of onion. I'm gonna aim for about 3.5 cups of bell peppers. Okay, that's the plan. We'll see how many I have. Hopefully I have enough. It's a loud job, but it's very easy and fast. All right, so the onions are all chopped up. See? Beautiful, uniform little chunks. And the next thing I'm gonna be working on is just chopping up all of the peppers, okay? So I already removed the seeds and I just cut them into little chunks, and also I'm gonna put them through this chopper. It can be done by hand, but it'll be much slower. So I'm just gonna cut them into little chunks. Again, I'm looking for about 3.5 cups of peppers. These are my homegrown bell peppers from the garden. All right, all of my peppers are chopped up. Again, beautiful pile. The next thing I need to start working is my hot peppers, and learned from my previous bad experiences, I've learned that when I work with hot peppers, I need to wear gloves, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna be wearing gloves because I know I'm gonna scratch my nose and touch my face, and next thing you know, it's gonna be very unpleasant. Okay, all right, so here's my habanero, and I'm gonna leave most of the seeds on them. I'm just gonna take a look. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it just the way it is, and I'm just gonna chop them small as well, just like I did with other items. Okay, so I'm just gonna put them here, and I'm gonna chop them up nice and small. Just like this. All right, now my habanero, I'm gonna take a look at them, and I think they're a little too spicy for my taste. I'm gonna take the seeds out. I'm gonna take those seeds and the veins out. And also I'm gonna be putting them through this chopper to chop them nice and fine. Just like this. All right, so all my peppers are nicely chopped. They're also gonna go to the addition of my other bell peppers. Alrighty, okay. So what am I working on next? I can work on the garlic. I peeled a whole head of garlic here. We can also put it through this machine, but I think it's gonna be a little too thick. So I'm gonna actually use a garlic press on for this one because I want it to be nice and fine. So let's put a garlic press on all of this beautiful garlic. So garlic is gonna add a really nice antibacterial, antifungal property, and also gonna add a really good prebiotic to our lactofermentation. So why is fermented foods are so good for us? Because even this salsa filled with beautiful bell peppers are gonna be very high in vitamin C. And when it's fermented, the vitamin C amount in the salsa increases. All right, so this is why we're so excited about this homemade fermented salsa starter. All right, what else am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna be working on these. I'm gonna be working on these beautiful, let me take this one off. On these scallions, and I'm gonna just chop them up really, really small, okay? So they all kind of resemble unity in their size. I'm gonna just chop them up quickly and add to the entire mass of vegetables. Okay, so all my scallions are ready. They're all here. So next step I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna mix all of these beautiful vegetables together. Okay, I'm gonna mix them all together so I have a chance to add the spices that I have. Okay, and we're gonna be putting it together into the jar, and the onions go in here as well that I chopped up a minute ago. All right, so everything is here. So to this, I'm gonna be adding now my spices. How many spices? Well, I have, where's my spoon? There it is. It's not even opened yet. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. It's a brand new spice. I haven't opened it yet. So this is coriander, and I'm gonna be putting about half a tablespoon of coriander. About half a tablespoon. Okay, it's gonna go in here. Beautiful, so aromatic, beautiful. Also to this, I'm gonna be adding about a tablespoon of cumin. And I have ground cumin here. Wait, I don't have enough. I gotta get more. This one is empty. All right, let me open the new cumin. All right. Oh, beautiful cumin. So about a tablespoon of cumin goes in here as well. Those are all wonderful blood purifier properties on cumin and coriander. And now I have a whole tablespoon of dried oregano, and that's also beautiful for antiviral, antimicrobial, and immune supporting herb. Okay, so here we go. We have all this beautiful stuff together. Let's mix it up and let's start filling the jar. I'm going to be putting it all inside this jar. Very nice. Because all this fermentation is going to take place right here in the jar. And then in just a short few days, 4 or 5 days, maybe 6 days, maybe even 7 days, depends on how warm the temperature is in my kitchen, this product is ready to be used. Okay, it doesn't take that long for lacto fermentation to start taking place. If this was a really hot summer and it's really hot in my kitchen, this would be done in 4 or 5 days. But because it's kind of cool right now, especially at nighttime, this may take place up to a week probably. And then my friends, I'll just take some fresh cilantro, fresh lime juice, some fresh tomatoes, chop them up, add this as a starter. Oh my gosh, and it's the best, and it's such a great salsa on the side of any protein or on the side of any other boring, otherwise plain dish. All right, let me fill this all in here. And if I have to push it with a spoon, I'll push it with a spoon. I want to fit as much as I can in here. My camera cut out and I didn't have a chance to show you how I mixed the brine. So let me show you. And then I was also going to show you a little mistake that I made, so don't repeat that mistake. So come closer with the camera. So I always like to mix my brines in a quart jar or a pint jar. So here's a quart jar, and into that quart jar, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons. And in my case, it's coarse sea salt. 2 tablespoons of coarse sea salt, and I'm going to dissolve it. Because it's so coarse, it doesn't like to dissolve very easily in cold water. So I have some hot water that I boiled a minute ago. And I'm just gonna pour a little bit, and that really gonna speed up the dissolution of that, to dissolve that salt much, much quicker, okay? So this brine is not gonna be hot, not at all. So it's just, I'm using a little bit of hot water, you know, maybe like quarter of a cup, maybe half a cup, maybe something like that, you know, just to swirl it around and dissolve it. And then I'm gonna top everything off with cold water. And I always like to use clean filtered water. In our case, it is well water, so we have really good quality water. All right, so my brine is done. And then this brine goes into my vegetables. All right, I also like to take a little skewer and just poke holes, make sure that this brine salty liquid goes all the way in between. I think I put a little too much of vegetables here. Yeah, I did, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, I promise you. All right, so that's that. Everything is covered with brine. I'm gonna put a cover on, just like this. And guess what, my friends? The starter for the salsa is ready. It's gonna sit on my kitchen counter for the next few days, anywhere between 4 to 7 days. And I'm gonna taste it. It should be slightly salty, tangy, spicy, delicious starter to the salsa. What may happen is that because this fermentation is gonna take place, I'm gonna see some bubbles come up. I'm gonna be burping this jar every day. I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna allow the CO2 to come out and escape. And I'm gonna close it up again, just like this. So again, open it maybe once, twice a day and close it up again, just to make sure that there's a place for the room for that CO2 to escape. And that's it. So here's the mistake I've made. Remember how I said, I have so much, it's not gonna fit, and I was kind of pushing it down. Well, it's too much. What I should have done, I should have left some headspace, at least an inch. This is way too much. It's so much because, I don't know if you saw, this is day 3 and it's making bubbles. And bubbles are coming up, so I need to burp this jar a couple of times a day. So it's not tight. I didn't make it tight. I don't know if it's kind of loose on. But look what it's doing. It's releasing liquid. So if you don't put a container under this jar, you're gonna have a big fat mess on your counter in the kitchen. So don't overfill it like I did. Leave headspace for sure, and always put a plate underneath, because now I need to empty this. Otherwise, it's gonna be a sticky mess in my kitchen counter. When the fermentation is complete after 4 to 5, 6, or even 7 days, this is gonna go and sit in my fridge, because when it's in the fridge, the fermentation level, the amount of that is gonna slow way down, and it's not gonna continuously ferment. Why? Because the fridge is nice and cold, and it's going to impede that bacteria from multiplying, right? The lacto-fermented bacteria. It's gonna sit in my fridge. And then, say next week, I'm gonna be serving breakfast, eggs, omelet for breakfast, egg omelet, right? I'm gonna take some tomatoes, chop them up, put a little cilantro, chop it up, put a little lime juice, or if you have it, if you don't have it, that's fine. I'm gonna take a good spoonful of this starter, mix it all together, and serve it over the eggs. Let me tell you, it's really, really good. It's not just beneficial to our gut and immune system, but it's also delicious. So that's a win-win situation. So friends, be encouraged and try something new.